Featured artist this week is Sean Paul. The energetic dancehall star has 1.6 billion Pandora plays and over 1 billion YouTube streams in the last year. His latest album, Live and Living, is laced with legends as well as newcomers in the genre. Pick up Sean Paul, Live and Living.
Yeah.
Oeste.
We're live and living. And Thanksgiving, definitely.
How you stay mentally, like how the whole vibe I treat you, like, you know, how you stay?
The COVID time here, kind of rough, you know, with friends being sick and certain icons passing off and homeschooling. That's probably the worst part.
Same for me.
But yeah, we are pushed through. You know, the first 5 months I was kind of like afraid, not you know, like I have asthma, so kind of I listened to every news clip and watch every conspiracy I could just to kind of get a full knowledge of certain thing and form a little safety guard for myself. You know what I mean? I said, all right, social distance and the spray and the this and the that and the mask. You know, and go studio and start just work on the album. Them. So the two good things come out of all of this is the family time. I've never had a proper period of time like this, where it's like full family time, wake up, eat the breakfast with the kids, you know, the school thing. And yeah, those things are amazing. And then studio time too. Got a lot of studio time. Usually I'm on a plane for 12 hours a day or 6 months a year. I'm all over the place. But it's been good that way, in that respect.
So why you decide to drop an album now? Because we're not out of it yet, you know. Why you dropping live?
I want to see 2 albums here going on. I got one in May dropping. You never hear about that one there?
Yeah, man. Steve, tell me about that one.
All right.
Last week.
So Live and Living is the first album. It's more dancehall oriented. It have traditional dancehall sound and the new sound. So Buju Banton, Busy Signal, Junior Gang, Serrani Mavado, people like that on the album, Suko Ward. But then we have the new type of sound, you know, Govy, Intense, Massacre, Skillet Bang, type of vibes where, you know, Squash, Chiching Ching, and the new signees from Dirty Rock, Sort of Bless, Big Up Luga, man, always been in the crew, Rasa Jai. So that one is a more hardcore album, and the point I'm trying to prove with it is unity is the best community for dancehall right now. You know, may I try to say collaboration over clash, let's go get the cash. I've seen other subgenres come up underway like reggaeton and they ain't clashing and they just cashing, you know what I mean?
Them girl on reggae dancehall.
Yeah. And so it really has a lot to do with also the fans too, you know what I mean? And their ability to kind of, you know, support the artists, them and the music itself. So all of their fans are really doing a great job of doing that. So with that being said, I'm just trying to unify everybody's thinking and be the change in a little way and just say, yo, we could do things like this, you know what I mean? The next album is called Scarcha. That does feature some hardcore dancehall tracks, but it also have like, you know, the very pop-oriented dancehall.
Hold on. I don't want to get to it yet. I don't want to get to it. I want to do it live and living. I get to it though.
All right.
But Live and Living, right? Live and Living, you said recently that you don't like the violence. You don't like the man them who are bust off people head and thing. But you have some bust off head man on this album.
Yes.
Like, what was that decision in including them on your project?
To try to show them a different type of light. I mean, the only person that really went in the album was Skilly Bang. And I said to him, say, when you start recording, we have to stop and press the button and say, DJ, you know, better kill them off in the song, me I beg you, bro. Now kill them off. See? You can bad them up, but don't kill them off. And you still go on them. So I tried that part. And he explained to me, yo, that's what the fans them want from me. So we kind of tell him, say, you know what I mean? I use the opportunity to kind of lead by example by showing people how to put together an album like this, where you can have the newer people and then you can have the more established people on it. And everybody can be going hard on the album, but not at anybody in the genre. We're just going hard at each other. We're going hard at the track. We're trying to make the track better. We're trying to make the album fresher. Because to me, what we do on a year-to-year basis, even having Skillibeng and Intense on the same album right now is something of a feat, you know what I mean? And the last song, I call it Everest because Masca and Skillibeng wasn't really aware together. And neither was DeMarco who hit the track. He's somebody who wasn't really seen eye to eye with Massacre for years now. And when it all come down to it, when three of them talked to me, them was really like, yo, it's not really a big deal. But it's kind of like the vloggers and the fans and people who know a certain little backstory kind of push those issues. So, you know, my problem with the clashing thing or with the violence thing that comes about during clashing is that we become complacent with the amount of violence that we're speaking of, that we're hearing, that we're seeing in the streets around us. Even though this music is supposed to tell us what is happening around us in the street, you know, hip hop, dancehall, reggaeton, even zesting music in Trinidad, there comes to be a point where you're embellishing and you're kind of glorifying certain things. You know what I mean? And I've described it like this, like you see a river. And you know, so that river they wash where people regular, and you see a little young virgin them are going at the river, and you say, youth, the river they're gonna wash away. You know? You can't be in that river and don't wash away at some point. And I'm still going there, and then I'm still expected to sing songs about it like it's a happy thing. It's not a happy thing. I've buried enough of my friends, enough. I'm not just one or two friends where I spend my money to put into their funeral to send off good because they are shot 9 times or short cut. Them thing there is violence that's in our society. And for me to be a musician and keep hearing it, I mean, I can't even mourn. I go to the dance, then I go back to the studio and hear head back, bus and split. And so anyway, I'm just try to get everybody together and just do a more positive album. I don't think Massacre said anything such as that, neither did I. I was talking hard in the album, in those songs, especially like in that one. Even Guns Are Never Own, I'm saying head back split, but when you listen to the song in its entirety, it's kind of showing you a different light, you know what I mean? Which I think was
multiple layers of what you're saying.
And that's the thing, we embellish too much of the negative things and glorify them when we should be telling the full story. Like, boy, we're afraid of police right now, they might come for it. I shot my friend last night by mistake in the dark. I didn't know it was him. You know, me and my baby mother can't live together, but I can't grow up my child. I have to live in the bush. Them thing there's what's going on in the country, bro. And them thing there is not being said in these records. We're only talking about how we win being the gangster. And it's not true. You know what I mean? And this music is supposed to be the truth. So be the truth, man. If you're going to say them thing there, say the full spectrum, you know what I mean?
That's a solid statement. Yesterday I was driving to the country listening to Bob Marley saying, play on the R&B. And he was saying, play on the Hot 100. Now my show is about the R&B and the Hot 100 chart. I'm like, yo, Bob, I prophesied to me right now.
Yeah, see?
Because he had so many layers. And I noticed that the album, I just was listening to it, I reached like track 10 or thereabout. And I noticed, even though you go hardcore with the Skillibengs and even Buju up on it and go on that thing, this album can be on the R&B and can be on the 100. Is that an intentional thing to bring hardcore dancehall to the mainstream? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
Well, that's what I've always tried to do. I mean, look on the history of what dancehall had done in terms of from the 90s when, you know, big up Stitchy, he was the first one to get signed, and then, you know, different other artists started to get signed. Shabba Ranks to me did it big, but the way he did it, he had to, you know, we love Ting-a-ling and songs like that and Trailer Load. But the songs that really crossed over on the R&B and got him on the radio and TV stations over there was Johnny Gill and Shabba, Maxi Priest and Shabba. Those were kind of mixed. Reason why it was mixed is because the mainstream radio in international waters was not ready for our style of thing. It just wasn't ready. If you look at the Caribbean satellite network that came about for a few years, CSN, and we was playing all of those videos, the Ting-a-ling and all of that. but it didn't last for long because their palate couldn't handle it. There still was some residue left over from fans that was like, we love that, give us back that. So that set the trend for people like me, which was doing just straight dancehall. Shaggy came along after Shabba and did quite well, but it was with R&B again and mixing it with certain hip hop flavors. Where the Gala Fly All the Way from Paris, that was Shaggy's rhythm, and that was a Cypress Hill rhythm that them sampled. And he also did the Mr. Lover Love upon it, and then he put it on the Marvin Gaye as well, and that blew up big. You know what I mean? And the only thing at that time that was reggae oriented that was getting on the radio was Big Mountain. Ooh, baby, I love the way. That was getting on the the R&B charts and the top 100 charts and things. And it took a while for, it took till 1997, 98 for the dancehall music with Beatman and Bounty Killer and people like myself doing little records that was kind of breaking off, Tantametta and Devante. You know what I mean? It took all that time. Look, from 1990 to 1998, almost 10 years for it to be there. And then I was in the right place at the right time. I was doing hardcore dancehall music with instead of going hardcore in terms of that can't play upon the radio and just be streets alone. I wasn't doing that. No, I wanted my songs to be played on the radio. So from that time, I was always conscious of trying to get on any radio and trying to do authentic dancehall, as in the rhythm production and the beat. So then Give Me the Light happen, Get Busy, Deport Them, songs like Deport Them and Hot Girl Today featuring Vegas and ultimately then Temperature after that, and doing songs with Beyonce and Blue Cantrell and Keisha Cole, and all of that was just a straight hardcore dancehall song because the world was not ready for it. After about 2010, it started being dancehall is what the world is, dance music is what the world is ready for. And I find myself having to do what Shabba and Shaggy was doing back in then, like, I have to mix this sound now, because if I don't do that, I'm going to lose all of that pop audience that I just garnered, right? And so I thought that the next step was to infuse it with the pop that was going on and infuse it with the dance music that was going on. And I did that for a few years. An album called Tomahawk Technique is a cut and clear from what dancehall was usually presented as. I was like, that's why I call it Tomahawk Technique. I'm like, I want to chop off made on this one and show people a different style and show people, a different part of production that we can do in dancehall. And I took it to that level. Songs like Got to Love You and songs like, She Doesn't Mind came from that, which was very poppy sounding dancehall oriented things. And now we're coming to a time where I see in the Bieber them do it, and Rihanna and Drake and French Montana, Sway Lee, what name, Redhead Boy, Ed Sheeran, like all of those things, and even now myself, people start coming back. Enrique Iglesias, Enter the Zona, people like Sia, come check me and want the dancehall flavor. What's your name? What the name again? Anne Marie and Clean Bandit. So that time gone, and that was about 2 years ago, where I did works with Dua Lipa and all of that, and I'm mixing the sound to stay in their earshot. And right about now, I think they're ready for some, I just feel said, people are ready for some hardcore dancehall again. And I want to do it on the level where, as you said, Give Me the Light was a hardcore song. I was talking about weed and girls and which one me I got to take with tonight. But it was presented in a way where you can listen to it. I learned a thing from a song that I loved as a kid and didn't know what it meant. The song said, oh, what a night, late December back in 63. What a very special night for me. What a lady, what a night. Me never know what it means as a kid, but he's talking about losing his virginity that night. Yeah. So when I grew up, I was like, yo, I want to write songs like that. They can play on the radio. They're very sweet. They're people love them. But it have a hardcore connotation to it, and it's not till the kid will grow up. So I find myself feeling like, okay, good. I don't feel like I'm influencing kids in that respect. So all my songs are geared towards that. I learned the next lesson when I put out Give It Up to Me on a big prominent radio station out here in Jamaica. Said, we can't play that till after 9. It's too suggestive. And I said, what do you mean suggestive? Like, what do you mean? They said, give it up to me. What is it? I'm like, my love. You know, give her love up to me. It could be that. But they said it was too suggestive. So you know, I dig deep and I try to write songs where it's like they can play on radio, they can play in kids' playlists, even though it's talking some hardcore material. It sounds sweet, and they won't know what I'm talking about till later on. You know?
Speaking about the radio, streaming is now almost fully integrated in the Caribbean. Only Pandora not here and iHeart
Yes.
and some other little small ones, but everybody's here now. Spotify's here, Apple's here. You were the top man on Spotify for the genre for the Caribbean last year with 600 odd million streams. Do you think it's a good thing now for artists, for the fans to be able to access the music? And what's the benefits and what's the drawback?
Yeah, I've been kind of throwing words at the whole industry with that one, because people say, you know, streaming, and a lot of people have told me, even people in my own industry, own reggae or dancehall genre, have said to me, dancehall dead. The youth them now do it like it used to, and them not spit like them used to, and the rhythm them different, and dancehall dead, and the no numbers there. It not sell. And I'm like, bro, it not sell because first of all, it's part of our culture that sound systems and DJs like that get songs and fling it out there. Now, back in the day when there's no Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, MySpace, TikTok, all of those things that help you promote your product, I would be like, I was like, yo, Soundman is the one that's gonna help me get out there. So that's great. We come to a time now where all these innovations and technical, technology kind of developed to a point where all the social media is around. And so we still doing the sound system thing as well. So I used to say to also about Spotify, it wasn't here till just recently. I mean, if given the chance, we would probably have some more decent numbers, you know what I mean? So for me, I like that fact, but I also know that, you know, many Jamaican people still rely, they're living in certain parts, rural parts, and listening to the radio. You know what I mean? They're not really on Wi-Fi, so to speak, or to run up a phone bill, downloading a song with bad service in the way, you know, you're in the hills are that kind of difficult. So our numbers are still not going to be the best that they could be, but at least we're going to be given a chance to stream and do those things. So those are good things, but it probably won't be a efficient way of kind of putting our numbers in. Yeah, because as I said, not everybody is digital, you know what I mean?
What World Music Views does, because I totally agree with you, we see that YouTube is the way that Caribbean music is being consumed. And you're the only person other than Rihanna to make that YouTube top 100 list. That's like an authentic way that people access the music for free, and they stream it over and over. Every barbershop you go to, they have a TV. Every hairdresser have a TV playing what's hot. And I curate that World Music Views every week. So I totally agree with you. But there is a thing that last week I had an interview with Lila Ike, and she was saying she don't make a lot of money from her streams because of the record deals. So I explained to her that it's because you don't own the masters, because the master owner, that's the person that has the right to the music.
Yeah, most of the music, yeah.
Do you own your masters, and do you encourage more artists to own the masters so that they can get more direct money, like how they get a dub plate money, and see more money in their pocket right away?
You know, I saw Supercat develop his own label, probably late 80s. And some people used to say, boy, I can't just stay more away. I'm kind of fling up him onto the whole business and say, my label, me. And I was like, that's dope, because most of the money going to come back to him. You know, and so kind of looking at that example, I've always wanted to own my own, songs. You know, a lot of us in the industry say, my music. It's not really your music until you produce it or you own it. To tell the truth, you're on a track. You know what I mean? So it's taken years though, because it's lopsided. I mean, back in the day, VP Records and Atlantic Records, they own all of my hits. You know what I mean? There was nothing else I could do at that time. I saw them as a stepping stone to where I wanted to go, VP Records. Because to me, they're a big distribution link. And I saw them as a stepping stone. And so said, so done. I mean, Atlantic heard about it from the buzz that was going on, and they came in and I stepped up to that level with them. But sorry, I kind of lose my train. Give me back the question again. I'll get back.
Do you own your masters?
Oh, owning, yeah.
Encourage more artists to own them.
So the whole of those are owned by Atlantic and VP. Zane, I have the right to re-record them after 15 years, and I own them now. I haven't done that yet. The 15 years has passed. But this latest deal that I have with Island Records is such a good relationship. I mean, in the contract itself, it states that I can put out my own records from Jamaica. I can record with Jordan and Chimney them, Don Carleone, one-time production, anything. Wow. I can do that and release in the job because they understand that the genre, you have to have singles to keep up what's going on with your career. You have to be current. And then I decided that I was going to put out a bag of singles, like one with Squash and one with Mavado and one with, you know, the different artists. And then at some point last year, it dawned on me, I have enough tune. I might as well just put out an album and done. So that's why Live and Living came about. And with them, I own my own masters, but I lease it to them for a few years. And when they're done with it, yeah, I get it back for ownership. Like, so basically now they're controlling it and doing what they're doing. When you see it in a movie or you see it in a TV show, or maybe even ads or whatever they might do with it, I'm getting a trickle of the money, but after a while, it's going to be my own back to manipulate in those respects. But it took me all those years. I've been in the business 20 years, and you would think that after, you know, the first album sells 7 million one time, boom, amazing. So I go back to Atlantic the next year, and I'm like, yo, why you guys ain't supporting me right now? I don't see no flyers, don't see no posters about my album in the streets like it used to be. This was 2005. And they were like, I was like, I sold 7 million records. That means you made $36 million off of me in 1 year. And they were like, yeah, but that was last year. That is seriously what they said to me. And they're like, this is a new year, new things. And I was like, I want it blood. So they were like, and we've made up a policy that we're only going to develop younger artists. You have a fend for yourself. You're already a world figure now. Go do your thing. So I was like, damn. And so from 2005, it's been a fight for me to stay in people's earshot. That's why when 2006 come around and Temperature went #1, I was very, very elated. I was very happy because that kind of spat in their face. They were kind of supporting T.I. and those artists because he was kind of brand new on the scene back then. Where not brand new, but he was an up-and-coming artist, and they were spending money on him. Like, for instance, my brethren, Dadigan, passed away, violent means, R.I.P. to Dadigan. He started Dirty Cup Crew, and I did a song called Never Gonna Be the Same, where I put his picture in the video, and I spoke about him in the lyrics. And I wanted to turn it, make it into a single, and they were like, we don't see it as a single. And I was like, why? Because about a month before that, T.I. Brethren was shot, and they did a whole thing with him, and then put him on interviews about it, and then send him and then do a wicked top line video for him. I had to fight for the video I did for Never Gonna Be the Same. I actually spent a lot of my own money doing it. So those little things, those fights that I had to go through and try, you know, just balance the game back in them time there. And as I said, it took 20 years for me to come to this point. So anybody want to try have their own label, you're gonna have to have money behind it. So to be able to push it, to deal with a publicist, to take a picture of them, to shoot a video of them. I mean, literally, I've shot 5 videos for this project already, and then the hundreds of thousands of dollars US where I've been spending. I mean, it's a lot.
But it's still better than back in the days, because I know you spent more than that on one video back in the days.
Oh, yeah. Back in the days, they were selling albums. So
Yeah.
I mean, man like Puffy and Nas, if you look on the Puffy and Nas video, when
4
I'm up on the
minutes.
roof, don't hate me now, however, yo, when that's $1 million,
Yeah.
because music that sell, you know what I mean?
Puffy
Right now,
said-
music got trickle.
so
That's why
this
they go streaming.
point I want to bring together. So you dropping 2 albums, you bring dancehall to the mainstream, because I have no doubt that this at least reached reggae Billboard already, and I can see a few of these tracks reaching the Billboard Hot 100 chart if it get the push and you push it. You're dropping another album simultaneously, like while this one is charting. Are you bringing some of these same artists on that album? Tell us about that album, Scotch.
Yeah, Scotch is an album now that is a more poppy approach, as I said. It have some hardcore dancehall tracks like by Jordan Chimney, the song named Scotch, that's the lead out single. I just shot a video for it as well. Also songs with Izzy, Izzy Beats, my production as well. But then it have Banks and Ranks on there, and you know, Sia is on there. Big up to Sia. Me and her had a #1 song already, and I think this one is a big one as well. It's called Dynamite. There's a song that I have on the album with Gwen Stefani and Shensia in it. One reggae, one drop, like a lovers rock song. Big up to Ty Dolla $ign on the album. Damian Junior Gang Marley is the only person on the 2 albums. Him and Nicky Jam appear on one song with me. That's Nicky Jam from the Reggaeton World. Tovlo, which is a single I put out last year, is on this album. A song called Calling on Me, and Jada Kingdom up on the album. So Stylo GT. So it has 14 tracks. I think about 7 of them is combis, and then the next 7 is just singles by myself. Reason I'm doing it, bro, is, you know, I can't tour right now, but I do music. And touring used to take me away from the studio. The 2 parts of the music business I love the most is being in the studio or being on the stage. The traveling and all that was like hectic and took away time and even mental energy from doing the work. I would travel with my drum machine every day on the plane, beating rhythms and things. But you don't have as much focus, you know what I mean? So where I was keeping up with the game and putting out an EP a couple of years ago, that was because I was taking too slow to do things, and I was like, yo, man, I'll take them 8 single and I'll shoot them out. I mean, it's not an album to people. Okay, it's an EP. So, but it was a big work too. I mean, Dua Lipa, Becky G, Ellie Goulding, you know, Migos and Tory Lanez and people like, what's her name, Janie Aiko was on it, and we have a single song on it. So that was for me to try to keep up in the game. It was 5 years since I put out an album, and I was like, boy, this touring here take me. 2017, touring with Ching Ching took him all over the globe for try to get people aware of his album that I was dropping. I dropped the album in 2018 or a little after that. It streamed 12 million so far, which is an amazing feat for somebody like Ching. Somebody that in 2009 was just somebody who used to just, you know, spit two joke on the sousaphone, and people say, yo, embodying on it, and you know what I mean? Yeah. He was doing poetry, so to speak, street poetry, and we encourage him, put it in the records, and hook up with Unruly them, and was a great vibe. But when I did get back involved in his career, it was a time where he was frustrated. He had wanted to put out the album and never really know how to do it or who to turn to. So me said, yo, make me put it out, because at the time Jordan was busy and Jordan and him was working a lot. And me said to Jordan, me and you will work on this album and put it out. And it ended up being that Ching brought more to the table and different productions from everybody else. And we just put out the album. For it to stream 12 mil was an amazing job. And so all those things was taking up my time. Now that I've had a lot of time for just sit and kind of reflect, I put together some projects that I'd been trying to finish, or even the song with my father. It was out before, but both of us had problems at the time. My father was in hospital and passed away, and then he was having family problems as well, and we couldn't promote it. You know what I mean? We never got to promote it. we both had ideas about a wicked video. So I stripped that song on this album and kind of revamp it with Sasko to try to be a remix type of vibe. So there was a lot of projects like that was sitting around, and the whole time and space and time that I got gave me enough focus back to kind of just do 2 albums. And I'm like, yo, you have 2 albums. What am I gonna do? I've talked to other artists that was like, I'm not going to put out nothing until we can tour again and support it. And I'm like, bro, you can support it on the internet. You know what I mean? And people need music right now. I think people need music. They need forms of entertainment. The streaming is gone up in Netflix and them type of thing there. I just think that I need to put out albums and test the waters there as well. Hopefully it will, you know, reflect great. No, I can't tour off it. And that's where I make most of the money. But other than that, you know, you do what you do. Even if you're, you know, an athlete, you broke your foot. Sometimes you still have to shoot some hoops with your broke foot. You know what I mean? It's what you do.
Style. Yeah. What's the biggest stage you ever performed on? Like, how much people? I saw people saying that Versus was the biggest dancehall audience, but I heard somebody say that that's not true. Like Sean Paul clocking numbers live. So what's your biggest audience?
Yeah, the biggest show I was ever on was the Prince's Trust. That's Prince Charles. He have a charity show every year. And it's in a big park in England. And I kid you not, there's 100,000 people in there. So wow. That was the biggest show I perform on, where it's like 100,000 people in one place. And it's funny because you see the people jumping at a different pace because the sound reach way out there different. So that was an experience to see that. I've been on that show, I think 2 times now. And that was the biggest one. But of course, there's other people, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers was there, and it was just a good opportunity for exposure for me. My biggest single shows where I perform by myself could be about 40,000 people in places like Africa, also Europe. I've got like over 40,000 people on them with it. So, I mean, live shows in that respect, I've had a great vibe for it. And I mean, in terms of, it's been a good look in the past 10 years, I would say. A lot of people would have said, oh, you know, we don't hear his music in the States much anymore, or any of his new things never pop off like that. I've still been doing shows, France, Germany, Spain, London, Japan, Australia, and a whole heap in Africa. 23 countries, I think, I've been in Africa. You know, part of the reason too was just economics. The shows in America are getting very expensive. Taxman come for you and bag us up. So, yeah.
So are you gonna be bringing this crew up on the album, up on tour? Like, I can just see the electrifying performances with all of them money.
I would love to. That was really my whole thing right before this pandemic hit last year. We were setting up to take Dirty Rock crew, which was, you know, as I said, Ching, Soto Bless, Lugaman, Rasa Jai, and myself, and a couple other artists that were around the place. I will actually name Invasion, that we haven't really fully recorded stuff. We have stuff recorded, but we didn't put out yet. Also, an ex named Abba, who happens to be Tony Rebel's son. Was both of them very talented, and they're kind of they are the juniors in the camp, which I would like to put out. But we was trying to book shows in places like Cayman, where I would do my big show the first night, and then the second night we would have a show where it was all of us on stage together. Cause I was putting out, you know, rhythms like Rope and Gang Gang and Kalaloo and No Caption and this one and name Swiss Cheese that we just put out the other day. So I was trying to take, you know, the crew and probably 1 or 2 others, like I had recordings with different like Charlie Blacks or Conscience or on my rhythms. But then the pandemic hit and all of those talks kind of fell through. You know, we're going to do Orlando, Miami, Cayman, and try to somewhere like Costa Rica as well, to try push the crew itself, not just like take Ching on the road and thing. And so it never happened. So I'd love if the place free up back for to be able to take some of them artists here, you know what I mean, on the road, same way with me. 2016, I toured with Fambo. 2017, I took Shensia on the road and also Ching. We went and did Europe. And I think I've taken Ching on the road for the past 3 years, you know what I mean? Only in the last, I think 2019 was a time we didn't do as much touring with him because his album was popping off for him and he was getting single shows, which was a better situation for him than just to open for me. So, yeah, that was a plan. And I wish to be able to do that. You know, that would be a great thing. Over the years, me and Shaggy, Junior Gang, Buju Banton, we have conversations and it always come up in the conversation that, yo, we need to do more collabs together. We need to do more touring together. Thus, the Jam Rock Cruise came about. And you know, that them kind of thing that inspire me. We always taught that to each other, but didn't have the time to do it. And now this pandemic give me the time to do it. So I hope when they do open up back, I can take one or two of the G them on tour and, you know, present them to my crowd in a different light.
I'm sure with Shaggy, Sean Paul, Junior Gang.
Yeah.
I only have money for them ticket there.
I want to tell you, I think we've done shows like that, you know. There's a show we've done in Trinidad like that. Me, Gang, and Shaggy. And that was a big show. So yeah, we should be able to take that on the road. But also, you know, what inspired me back in the day was to see crews like Shocking Vibes crew, where Beenie Man was definitely the headliner, and we would take Tanto Metro and Devante and Silver Cat and certain other artists on tour. Also Monster Shack was a crew, and you know, that type of vibe was a great thing to me. Alliance crew and things like that. So I try to get to the point where I can do that for my crew and probably whoever is up on the album.
I get a feeling that you're creating legacies that just will last forever. That's what you're up on, like. That's the vibe I'm getting.
I just think most of the time, yo, when me pre, I don't overthink this big picture of that's where I want to be and that's where I want to go. What I do concentrate on is to make that music sound the way I felt when I was 14. And I sang them, me a the Yagani, tell me a the Yaga, and the girl come wind up on me. Yeah, my little Stucky come what? And I say, whoa, I'm hard, I'm beat, and can't forget that feeling. Same way, I want the songs to reflect that and feel that way to people. So that's what I put most of my energy into. What comes after that? The touring, the big moves, you know, the accolades and the awards, the trophies and things. Them thing there is not something I don't pre about them things. I know that you must seek ye first the kingdom of God. And so to me, all of the things you follow, if you following what God has shown you in your heart, is the right thing to do. And so for me, the right thing to do is to pay proper attention to the history of the music and try to never forget that root and keep it in the music, all while pushing the borders of what it is to expand. Because, you know, Chuck Berry rock music don't sound like Kurt Cobain rock music. Two different style of rock music, but it's rock music. Come from the same root, you know what I mean? And so all the while, that's what I'm trying to do. And whatever happens, you know what I mean? If it's a Grammy, if it's a Mobile Award, if it was American Music Award, if it's a tour with a whole bunch of crazy people like, you know, and do big shows to it, Post Malone, I mean, and Travis Scott, is that them people that will take Ching Monks for tour with, you know what I mean? And he was like, yo, this is bad. And it give him a vision of where he
can
go. And him see the discipline that I have, the amount of time I'm in the tour bus listening to rhythms and listening to you know, tracks that I've done and trying to perfect them. And that's the things I concentrate on more.
Brethren, I can feel it. I will interview a lot of people, and this is our second interview. And again, you're my best interview. It's always just a joy to listen to you. I learn a lot, and I feel your spirit genuine and authentic, brethren. Live and living, and little more Scorcher.
Yeah, man. You know why I come here alive and live in Scorcher? That's the reason. Yeah.
Big up Sean Paul. Thank you very much. All right. Blessings.
Salute, yeah. Give
Yeah,
time
man.
for the support every time.
All right. Respect. And that's it for World Music Views. Follow World Music Views everywhere for more music insights. I'm JR. Booyah!
Hi, I'm Tyrus Riley, and I'm here to tell you, this inflation thing is important. High inflation is a wicked thing, and we must abolish it like slavery. We want inflation low so we can plan and prosper. But if it drop too low, we can't grow. All the high prices that mean me harm, hey, they can go back where they came from. No inflation monster shall prosper, yeah. So that middle ground is what we want. Low, stable, and predictable inflation. Cause low, stable, and predictable inflation is to the economy like what the bass line is to reggae music. Listen up. One job. Let the bass line roll and catch. Reggae music run the country like low and stable inflation of a rock the economy.
A message by Bank of Jamaica.